said, hey you, can I bomb a cigarette?
We're on the same couch now. How does it feel?
It feels weird, but maybe fine.
Welcome, everyone, to Small Town Big Gays. We are the aforementioned gays who are too big for how small of a town this is. I'm Chance.
And I'm Travis.
New angle.
Yeah.
New couch. Same couch.
Just new couch for me. Now we can touch each other.
We can touch each other. How are you this Christmas Eve?
I am doing good. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Yeah.
Holly, jolly, or my cute sweater.
Yeah.
We kind of switched styles this week.
Vibes, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going all dark and you're...
Mysterious.
Yeah. It's going to be my MO this episode. Mystery.
Okay, I'll be the cheery, mean one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that'll happen, but...
Yeah, I don't think
we
I
can
could
try.
reach your level. But I will try my damnedest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have a good week?
Yeah, pretty good, I think. What did I do? Did I do anything?
I'm asking you.
I'm trying to remember. I don't think I did anything this week. How was your week?
I had a good week. Busy at work. You know, everyone's trying to get in before the holidays.
Yeah,
so.
look their best for holiday parties.
Yeah, it was busy. Kind of a little chaotic. We had another drag show again this past weekend.
Yeah, how'd that go?
It was good. Yeah, it was a fun crowd celebrating Jem's birthday.
Gemstone, friend of the pod.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Good.
Yeah, I'm excited to have some days off now, though.
Yeah.
Oh.
I do have a question for you as a professional hairstylist.
Okay.
As we know, as we can see, I can grow facial hair.
Yeah.
Very well. But that means I lost it all up on top. Couple springs ago, last spring, 2 springs ago, I let it grow out a little bit and then I bleached it. Do you think I should do it again? Take that as a no.
I'm just trying to, maybe with did you have the long beard at the time?
I had the long beard.
It might be better without the long beard. So.
I think so, because I think the stubble mustache combo and then the balding, but bleach and then letting my roots grow, I think it will make me look like scuzzy and dirty in like a hot way.
Yeah, but are you going to do like a good bleach or like a crappy bleach?
Shitty, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay. So that changes your opinion of it?
Yeah.
No.
Maybe. I don't know. Start growing it out and I'll let you know.
All right. So what are we talking about today?
Well, first I think we should do our 2 truths and a lie.
Yes. Did you also come up with 2 truths and a lie, or is this another?
I did. I feel like I'm not very good at them, though.
Me neither. I had to dig kind of deep to think of anything.
Yeah.
But I got mine.
Okay. Let's go.
You want to? Okay. So the lie is...
I was like, wait. I know kids probably didn't play with you a lot when you were a child, but...
No one played with me except for my gym teacher. It's a joke. I was not molested. Is that my truth or is that my...
I was like, are we starting? Or because that's clearly a truth, but...
Yeah. Okay. So 2 truths and a lie. 1, I once chunky puked mushroom and Swiss burger all over a man's dick. Okay, 2 is I once took a plane to Cleveland for a boy who then ghosted me on day 2 of the trip. And so I had to spend a whole day in Cleveland by myself, didn't know anyone. I went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And then the 3rd one is I once kept a man with his consent tied up in a bathroom for 2 hours while I just did other things.
I feel like the Cleveland was very specific. And it seems like a very Cleveland thing to do. So I feel like that's true. I'm torn between the bathroom and the mushrooms. I'm going to go with the mushrooms being the lie.
The puking, chunky puking, a mushroom and Swiss burger.
Yeah.
That is a truth.
Okay. Interesting. Well, I'm glad that happened to you.
Yeah.
I mean, I would puke just eating that food in general. That's disgusting.
It was a Hardee's mushroom and Swiss burger that I ate and then went and hooked up with a guy.
Yeah.
Chunky puked on his dick.
Oh, I love that for him and you.
We hooked up a couple more times after that too.
Well,
what do you know?
You know, I do have a story about puking on someone too. And then we did actually hook up after I did that as well. So apparently it's a thing. I don't know.
It's not a turn off, I guess. You just clean it up and keep going.
Yeah, mine, we were at an outdoor construction site, so we didn't have to clean it up. We just
left it.
Moved on.
Just kind of moved to the left and then kept going.
Yep.
Hot.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were wrong.
Yeah.
What's your next guess?
Then I'm going to go, well, maybe the Cleveland thing was a lie, but you just had very specific details, and that seems like something sad that you would do.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
The Cleveland is the lie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've been there.
I've been to Cleveland,
Okay.
yes, but I went and visited my college friends, Colin and Jake, friends of the pod, and did go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The best lies.
Are you making fun of my lisp that I think I have?
Yes. The best lies are the ones that have just a hint of the truth, are they not?
That's true.
So, yeah, I did go to Cleveland for 3 days, but not for a boy, because I would never fly to Cleveland for a boy.
Yeah, I mean, I did think you were poor, but I didn't know. You seemed desperate as well.
This was...
So it seemed like something you wouldn't do as a poor, desperate person.
Thank you. Thank you. I will accept that. This was before I was poor. This was when I was single and living in a shitty apartment for $300 a month. And it was long before pandemic, so I still was financially irresponsible. So yeah, maybe I was poor, or maybe that's the reason I am poor.
We'll never know.
We'll never know. Yeah. Okay, what are your...
Wait, what was your last one? Locked someone in a bathroom?
With his consent for like 2 hours.
Just like, what was the point?
It was like a kinky hookup thing.
Did you use the bathroom first and then lock him in there?
No, I just like kept him like tied up in a bathroom, and then I would like go do some other stuff, and then I would come in and we would do some stuff, and then I would leave again, and then for like 2 hours.
Cool. Well, we're going to actually be talking about kinks after this. So
fantastic.
It's a good segue, and I will talk about tying someone up as well.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Oh God, now I'm trying to remember what mine were. Okay. I once made out with an American bison. I have traveled to all of the continental 48 states.
Contiguous.
Contiguous, is that
I
right?
think that's the right word.
The lower 48.
Yeah.
We'll go with that. I don't know. Whatever you want to call it. Contiguous.
Yeah.
Could be right. Well, Adam Akala will correct us for sure.
Yes, he will.
And my last one is I was a lead witness to a murder.
Okay. Clarifying point. Was the American bison alive or was it stuffed?
Alive.
You made out with an alive American bison.
Mm-hmm.
I think that one's true. But don't hold me to it yet. Okay, so lead witness to a murder, made out with an American bison. What was the third one?
Travel to all of the 48 states.
48 states. That one's true, I think. Yes, that one's the truth.
The 48?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is the lie?
The lie is lead murder witness. But I want that to be true so bad. I hope I'm wrong. But I'm going to go with that one as the lie. Because I feel like you would have told me that by now.
Okay, you're locking that in as the final answer.
I'm locking that in as the final answer.
Okay. The murder is a truth.
Story time.
I can't remember if it was 4th or 5th grade. It was one of the two. I want to say 5th grade. In the small town we were in, I was at my friend's house, which was in a trailer park. And we were playing like tag on our bikes. And I went to like go tag my friend's little sister, and like we totally wiped out on our bikes. Well, in the meantime, this car came like flooring by us, and then this fight broke out, and then one of the guys started stabbing the other guy, and
Like in front of you?
yeah. Yeah. And
No wonder you are the way you are.
yeah, a lot of trauma. Yeah. And yeah, so the guy then went into the trailer and he bled out there. We didn't see that portion of it, but yeah, I saw the fight and the stabbing. And then because we were all so young, like my mom was like not going to send me to court as like a lead witness in it because it was too traumatic. I mean, I probably would have loved the attention, to be honest, but she decided that for me.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So then we had to have weekly group therapies at school, my friends and I, for a while.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah.
Sad. I'm sorry that happened to you.
You know,
4th or 5th grade. So did the
Yeah.
fight break out because you were biking in the road?
no,
or was
I think it was just like a lover's quarrel
No.
in the trailer park, you know, a tale as old as time.
Good for them. Good for them.
Yeah. It was just a really random
Yeah.
turn of events. But
So you did make out with an American bison, or is that the lie?
well, are you going to lock in on your
I'm
next
going to lock in on that's true. You have not traveled till 48, to the lower 48. Final answer.
Okay, correct. I have not traveled to all 48. Close, but
Yeah,
not
what
yet.
ones are you missing?
I think there's about like 10 on the East Coast, like
Okay.
upper East Coast, like Maine and Vermont, you know, like that area.
Okay,
So
okay,
that's my
okay.
next,
That's your next trip?
well, I don't know, but my next big adventure. But yes, so I have made out unintentionally with a bison.
Okay, wait. Unintentionally?
So when I used to work for my mission company, one of the summers I was in South Dakota, in the town we lived in, there was nothing to do. So there was a lot of bison farmers. And the one guy would like let us come out to his farm and like talk to us about bison and their cultural significance in the plains of South Dakota. And then he had these like biscuits that you could feed them. And he like thought it was funny to like feed it to them through your mouth. And then they would just like lick all over you.
And you kissed back.
Yeah. Well, I like, as soon as the bison came in to lick me, I dropped the biscuit and just started kissing it. Just kidding. That didn't happen. But yeah. So, I mean, it was tonguing all over my face.
Yeah.
I mean, that's more action than I get sometimes. So
Hot.
it was hot and very, very slimy
Yeah, I imagine.
and kind of smelly.
Yeah.
But also really scary because bison are huge.
They're giant animals.
Yeah, they're really
And
scary.
they'll fucking kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
They'll also make out with you for a biscuit if anyone's curious.
Yeah. So if you're lonely, find a bison farmer. There's one. There used to be one in Wisconsin anyway, by my hometown. I remember there driving through, and I would see little bison because I remember one time getting yelled at by my stepdad
For making out with it?
No, because we were driving through, and there were all the bison on the side of the road. And he was like, "Oh, look at the buffaloes." And I'm like, because I was in like 4th grade, so I had just learned that they're not actually buffaloes, they're American bison.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, "Oh, they're actually American bison." And then I got yelled at for being a smartass.
Yeah. Well, you are.
I deserved it.
He probably should have hit you too.
Ah, yeah. Yeah.
If he didn't. But we'll unpack that trauma at another day.
Yeah, that's a different episode. Did I get hit as a kid? Chance remembers.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought we would talk about kinks today.
Great.
Yeah. I don't know. I just thought it'd be funny.
So where do you want to start?
Well, do you have any kinks?
I have many kinks.
Do you have any that you're comfortable discussing with the public? Or no? Are you ashamed of them?
Not exactly shame. I wouldn't call it shame. Maybe it's a little shame. I've always been like really insecure about kinks and not wanting people like outside of who I have sex with to like know the kinks necessarily. It's just always been a thing. And I'm actually trying to move past it like currently. It's been a journey. Because, you know, I'm not into anything like insane. It's not like I want to go skydiving, and while we're skydiving, I want you to fist me. and then use me as a Muppet.
That's very specific. I feel like maybe that is something you
Maybe
want.
it is something I want.
That's okay if you do.
No, fisting's a no-go for me. Not interested. Weird.
Doing or both? Like having
Either.
done and doing?
It seems gross.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not in a position where that could happen anytime soon anyway. And then B, like, not interested. Maybe one day, but not right now.
Yeah. Just maybe you haven't
tried it.
tried it. So you
Because
don't
there are some kinks that started as a bit and then became not a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that happen to you?
Where like I joke around about doing something and then actually do it.
Yeah, and then it turns out you're kind of into it.
That's my entire life
Yeah.
in a summary.
Do it for the bit. Oh, this is not bad.
Yeah, I've like, I don't know. I think it's obviously like a thing with queer culture of like kinks are a whole subculture and a whole thing. And I think it's just because we're much more lucid with our sexuality and free. And so people are more willing to try things. But I, at the end of the day, kind of just prefer pretty vanilla stuff just because it's like, it's easier. For me, sex is kind of like a means to an end.
Yeah.
It's not something that I want to
It's
like.
not about the journey. It's about the destination for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not a journey girl when it comes to sex. I want to like just get in and get it done.
Get in, get it done, get out.
Yeah.
I'm more about the journey,
Okay.
I would say.
Interesting.
Because like I like leather and like BDSM in general, and like it's like one of those questions when you're on the apps and someone's like, "What are you into?" Like that's such a broad term, you know?
What are you into?
Leather, BDSM,
Well, let's break that down.
let's break that down.
So leather, is it the fabric, the smell?
No,
all the above?
It's actually none of those. So when I say I'm into leather, I don't even know if I'm actually like into leather, because there's the leather subculture.
So you're a liar.
No, but I'm part of the leather subculture.
Okay.
It's confusing
Because you like to wear leather.
because I like to wear leather. Leather makes me look sexy. I like how I look in leather. But I don't know if some people are like turned on by the leather itself, like the smell, the texture, whatever, or if they're all like me and it's just like the aesthetics of a man in leather does it for me.
I think it's probably both.
I think it might be both.
I think there are definitely people who like the smell of leather. Like I think it's like a thing, like when it gets sweaty and like,
Yeah.
I think that's like when I think of someone with a leather fetish, that's what I think of, not like wearing, because I also like to wear leather and like pleather and that like bondage type wear. I think anyone would feel for the most part sexy in that. But when I think of a leather fetish, I think of like more people who like the feel, the smell,
And I like the feel of it as I'm wearing the smell. Now that you mention it, the smell of when it gets sweaty is really nice, isn't it?
No,
I like it.
I absolutely hate that.
But I'm more about the aesthetics of being a leather man. Like you see some people who are really into it and they have like the full like leather button down shirts, and that does nothing for me because it doesn't look cool. I want you to look like a biker man in post-apocalyptic oh, fucking Christ. We're doing so good today. I want you to look like you're in Mad Max 2.
So like shredded leather and like,
not necessarily like you've seen me in my harness because I wear it.
oh,
I use every fucking opportunity I can to be shirtless wearing my harness in public.
Actually, I have a leather harness too.
What style?
I don't know. Regular?
Is it like mine that it like has the straps and then meets in the middle and then has two more straps, or is it like
No, it's just like over the shoulder.
and
like
then
one
yeah,
strap.
that's called a bulldog.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm a bulldog.
And the one that I have is I want a bulldog harness. The one that I have is an English. I think it's called an English like top buckle harness. It's like an English style one.
Yeah, I went to a event called TBRU 2 years ago now. Well, this March will be 2 years ago. in Texas, which it's the Texas Bear Roundup.
Cool.
Have you heard of it?
I think I have heard of it.
Yeah, so it's like an event for bears. In Dallas, Texas, and there's a lot of people that go. I was curious because I don't identify. Do you identify as, what do you identify as? Do you identify in anything?
Like a bear.
A bear?
I'm shooting for like muscle bear.
Muscle bear. Okay.
That's what I'm going for. But right now I am just like a kind of muscly bear, I think. But I've always identified as like a bear.
Okay.
Especially when I was bigger.
I don't identify as a bear at all because I'm not hairy, and I don't know. I identify as a wet rat. I don't know. I don't know what I identify as, but
I've never seen that one on Grindr.
It's a new subsect of maybe Mudang. That's what I identify as Mudang. Honestly, that's probably the best representation. But my friends convinced me that I should go because it would be like a good experience for me as like a larger body to be appreciated. So that sounds fun and something that I'm interested in. And so I went, and that was not the case for me.
Really?
Because I'm not hairy, and they like bears, they want the hair. And I grew my body hair and my facial hair out for a month, and I got like basically what you see now. And it was really sad and pathetic. But yeah, and so we went, and it was interesting. There was a lot of events and going out. I have never gotten so high off of poppers in my entire life one night watching Alyssa Edwards, which was trippy and fun.
You just kept taking hits? Or
no, I took one big hit.
Oh.
And it got me. They got me good.
That happens to me every time I do poppers in public.
Yeah, I never done it in public before. I'd done it like at home once or twice. It's not really my thing. I don't really have a lot of VHSs to be cleaning, so I don't keep it on me.
I have tons. We have a whole drawer in our fridge that's dedicated to tofu and poppers.
Oh, I thought you were also going to say VHSs because I'd believe that you would have a lot of those too.
I have a couple, but whatever.
Yeah. So I went to this, and anyways, they had like a market where like vendors would sell their like bearware.
Yeah.
And I was just like high in the moment, not actually high on the poppers, but just high in the moment. And I was like, oh, I should buy this leather harness for way too much money that I wore twice that now hangs in my closet.
No.
That because I don't identify in the harness leather community or the bear community or
you just have no
any community. I do identify in the Mudang community now, and I will be starting that as a thing. Yeah. So that's my experience with leather and harnesses.
Do you care for your harness? Have you ever washed it or conditioned it?
I've never washed it because I've literally only worn it. Honestly, I think
it might be kind of chapped.
Once for about 2 hours, and then the other time for about 3 minutes on stage. And it probably is chapped.
So yeah, I guess that's how you can tell I am part of the leather community is I know how to care for leather, I guess.
Because I like leather handbags.
It's nice. I don't think you have to condition those.
No, you probably should. Maybe some of them.
Yeah.
I have some nice ones that I probably should, but
could use some work. No. I got some saddle soap. I'll bring it sometime. But I have a similar story actually to how I even got into like leather. We stopped in Cleveland on our way back from New York, and it just so happened to be Claw, which is the Cleveland Leather Convention. I don't remember what it all stands for, but it's called Claw. It's an annual like leather convention there. And we didn't know that. We got there on a Sunday. We check into our hotel. We look out the window, and there's a dude with a puppy tail in a jock strap, like taking off his pants and throwing them in a car before going somewhere. And that's how we found out that there was a big kink convention in Cleveland. And the nearest gay bar to our hotel happened to be the Leather Bar, Leather Stallion or something like that. But so we went there, and it was the last day of this convention. So there were a bunch of dudes, and that was the first time I had been like appreciated for my body in that specific way, other than by like my now husband who was there with me. But it was a ton of bigger hairy guys, a lot of bears. just making out and enjoying each other. And by the time we were leaving, they had someone posted at the bathroom because some stuff was going on in there. And but that was kind of what got me into it, of like, oh, here's a subculture where my body type and my, what I am is appreciated. And then after that, I bought my first harness, and here we are now. Now I spent like $1,000 on leather gear from Mr. S Leather, and I guess I am into leather.
Love that for you.
Yeah.
What a journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't identify as a leather wearer, but maybe someday. I don't know. It doesn't breathe, so it's not really a fabric for me.
It is not. I like using it as a accent a lot of the time, as you can tell from the amount of times I wear my harness just for drag shows or whatever. Actually, we were at a holiday party last week, and and Coco Latte was there, and that reminded me at our drag show the other week, the one that we did together. I had not met Coco outside of Fireball yet. And so I was introducing myself. I'm like, hi, I'm Chance. And she's like, oh, hi, I'm not used to seeing you wearing a shirt without your harness. It's the only times that Coco has ever seen me at Fireball, where I'm usually shirtless and wearing my harness or a leather jacket and all that stuff. So, yeah.
Cool.
That's where I am.
I need to get some water quickly.
Okay.
Sorry.
We'll take a quick break. Coffee little bitch. You dying?
Hopefully.
Can you imagine how much attention I would get if you died when we just started this podcast?
Would you continue it without me?
Yes.
And then just like film it in here?
Yeah.
What if I died and then you continue this and then you like just would bring a Ouija board and pretend to like be talking to me?
That's a great idea. People want to see us use a Ouija board together. Not really, but I'm saying they do because I want it to happen.
I want to see these people. Sure, we can do it at your house.
All right, fine. Why not?
Yeah.
I ain't scared, bitch.
I'm not. I'm a little scared.
You're scared.
Because I have powers and you don't.
We'll get back to the subject of kinks, but I do have to say, I once got called sensitive by two psychics, actually, 15 years apart. So how many psychics have called you sensitive?
None, but a lot of men.
Yeah.
I don't need validation from psychics as a psychic myself.
Right. Okay.
So,
if you're so fucking psychic, what number am I thinking of?
9.
Nope.
I think you're lying.
It was 3, which 9 is divisible by.
Yeah.
So, or the square root of which. So that's how you have to flip it, is when you get something wrong, you have to flip it. So square root of 9 is 3.
Well, I think I wasn't wrong. I just think you weren't there yet.
No, you were incorrect.
No.
Anyway.
Back to kinks.
What else do we want to talk about?
Okay, so do you have any kinks that are like, I think we kind of like touched base on this, but like a hard draw besides the fisting? Or any that you just don't understand maybe, and you're curious, maybe not curious to do, but just curious to understand where it comes from.
Okay, here is one, actually, because it relates to the leather community. So a big part of leather community is pup play with the pup masks and the hoods or whatever. And I'm like interested, but I don't get it. I don't get the appeal. I don't understand the whole thing. But it's such a big part of like the leather community that it intertwines so much that I'm like, I'm curious about it.
Yeah, I think that one's like a similar for me too. And then also like furries.
Furries, yeah, I don't get. I don't understand it. And I wonder how much crossover there is between pup play and furries. If you're a furry, send us a message at STBG pod.
I can kind of wrap my head around both of them in a way of understanding of like, I think it's like a power thing and a dominance thing, which is like can be attractive I get like it probably helps you feel like you aren't yourself, so you have like less inhibitions, like that, you know, like drag is that for me. So like I feel like I can do and be more than what I am. So maybe it's like a way to like feel like a character where you feel like you can do more things that you wouldn't do.
I do hear that about, because when I've tried to like get the appeal of pup play specifically, not furries, but that is one thing I read, was that it lets you become something that, you know, other than yourself, so you don't have to deal with like the stress and, you know, whatever of your day-to-day life. You get to just like, you act like a dog and you get told what to do. And sex, I don't really know how that factors into it exactly.
Yeah, it may not always be about sex. It might just be about,
yeah, because that's the thing with kink, is it's not always about the actual like physical act of, you know, dick in hole. It's sometimes just about the domination and submission. And
I also want to understand, well, I'll come back to the furry thing in a second here, but I want to know if we have any female identifying listeners, maybe specifically lesbian listeners, who are the kinks as strong in the lesbian community.
That's a really good question.
I also feel like, because obviously we don't identify in that spectrum of like understanding and community, and we're in the same community, but that's specific subsect. I do feel like the lesbian community is very left out and very marginalized within our community often. So I want them to feel involved, and I'm very curious to know, like, I don't hear about it, but I would assume there's leather fetishes, and
there's gotta be
also some similar stuff, and if they have their own subsex. So if you are identifying in that aspect, queer, lesbian, whatever it may be, and I'm very curious to know.
Please reach out to us at STBG pod on social media, smalltownbiggays@gmail.com.
Yeah.
We have a Facebook that we don't post on because I don't know how Facebook works anymore.
Well, I'm an old lady, so I can maybe take care of that.
Yeah, I'm sure you could.
But yeah, and if you're in the area, I would love, maybe we could interview them at some point.
I would love to have a lesbian guest.
Yeah.
Because I have many questions. It's just not, I know a couple lesbians, but we don't, you know, often.
Yeah, I mean, I work with someone who identifies as lesbian, and so I mean, I hear about, you know, the sexual parts of it, but I have not heard much about like but I mean, you have like the I'm trying to think of, what are they have? Oh, stud names. Have you heard that?
I have.
Yeah, I love that. I'm so into that. I love watching TikToks of people and their stud names versus their real names. It's so funny. But yeah, so I want to know more about lesbian culture and like their kinks and subculture. But back to furries. As I do think a lot of the costumes are really cool. Like
they're
really
fucking expensive.
Yeah,
too.
they're pretty cool looking. I don't find it in any way like sexually appealing or attractive or anything, but like in an appreciation for the arts, I think a lot of them are really cool looking. I think that like there's some that like go all out with it. Like it's pretty wild.
Yeah. I mean, they spend money on those, and they take care of them. It is aspiring to see someone that is that into what they're into.
Yeah.
And I guess I can see that from the same perspective as someone who has spent, you know, a lot of money on fetish gear and plans to spend more. You know what? You like what you like. We don't kink shame, we kink shame, unless we do kink shame, but we're not kink shaming here.
Yeah.
Mostly because we're scared of furries.
Yeah. We're scared of the backlash.
They come out in numbers on the internet, so.
Yeah. Although I will say, I feel like the furry community has definitely gotten the most of the backlash recent. The furries and unfortunately the trans community are the two big targets amongst the LGBT agenda, so to say, from the conservative side. My favorite is the lore of the litter boxes at schools.
Yes, because these kids are identifying as cats.
Yeah.
And they're shitting in litter boxes.
Which, like, when I think back to when I was in school, many, many years ago now, I mean, there was definitely kids that just hissed at you, and I thought it was hysterical.
We had one of those when I was in high school, and in college, there was specifically a girl who this was in 2000, 15, 16, who would walk around campus with like cat ears and a tail all the time, and we all affectionately called her Cat Girl. And this was during the brief era that the social media platform Yik Yak was being used. Are you familiar with that?
I feel like maybe I know what it is, but
it was like Twitter but location based, so you could see it, you would like tweet out basically and it would go to only, a certain radius or whatever. So they were big on college campuses.
Okay.
So on Yik Yak we would always be like cat girl spotting.
Oh my God.
Anytime someone and then people would get on there and defend her and be like, just leave her alone, she's living her life, she's not begging for attention. That's like, she is wearing ears and a cattail. She wasn't okay with people talking about the fact that she was wearing the ears and the cattail, which feels a little victim blamey, and I know, but it's not the same. You can't compare someone wearing cat ears and a tail on a college campus to someone getting sexually assaulted, and that was always what people tried to conflate it with. So
I also feel like there is such like a strong cancel culture that like everyone's afraid to talk about anything because they're afraid of getting canceled to an extent. So it's like you maybe want to say you don't understand something and that it could seem weird to you, but then someone's going to attack you and be like, it's not weird, you just don't get it, which is, I mean, true.
It's true, but like
it can also just be okay to not understand it and
we
get
can
it.
also talk about how we don't understand it. That's how we learn.
Yeah.
Because I'll say that we're going off on a lot of tangents today, which is fine, but the whole tendency of people on the internet to be like, you don't understand this thing and you're stupid and wrong and a terrible person because you don't understand this thing, and I'm not going to explain it to you, but you're a terrible person because you don't get this.
Mm-hmm.
That is not the way we should handle stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's how people get further radicalized to the other side and then shut themselves off from trying to understand perspectives other than their own.
Yeah.
Which is a big problem on, I'll say it, liberal echo chambers on the internet. And I say that as a liberal person, they just tend to, you're stupid because you don't get it, and you're a bad person because you don't get it, when it's like, no, we need to.
Did you have to look me in the eye when you said that?
Yes. No, you're not. You're not the issue. You're great.
I am an issue. Anyways, back to shitting in litter boxes.
Would you do it?
No.
I have 3 at my house right now. We could go do it right now. I'd try it.
God. I don't think I could hover that long.
That's fair.
As a larger lady, I think I might struggle. I think it might cause bigger issues in the long run.
Yeah.
Than just having to clean that up later. But I do have a friend that I feel like a lot of my friends are very vanilla, which is fine. And I tend to be, I like to think vanilla, but then when I start talking about my tragic stories, I realize I'm probably really not that vanilla. But anyways, so I like to like be that friend that like, and that person that just like kind of pushes the boundaries a little bit. And I also love a good reaction from people. So like, I'm going to say and do things to like get reactions out of people, whether it be like shock or awe or laughing, or I try not to do like things just to make people mad for no reason, but if it happens, it happens. But I have this friend who I was joking around about them having vanilla sex. So I'm always like, I'm going to come up with a jar of things not to put inside you, but of like different ideas that you and your boyfriend could do to spice things up. Well, they're big cat people, and he actually listens to this. So I love that he's going to be listening to this and know exactly who he is. And they're cat fucking people, which is most gay people, to be honest. And one of them was joking around about shitting in the litter box and being a whole like fetish thing. I don't know where it came from.
So you're gonna put that in the jar of things
I'm really actually working on this. So if you have any good ideas to contribute to it, I think it'd be funny I mean, I don't want to put that actual one in there, but that was like a funny one to see what the reaction would be.
Yeah.
And it was exactly what I wanted it to be. But like fun ones like, I did say something about like, I said it would be funny for them to act like a cat and like lay, like the boyfriend would come out like after work and they'd just be like naked laying in the cat bed and just like purring and then like just walk over and just shit in the litter box, like I just think that'd be funny.
Certainly be some good foreplay.
Right? But like your boyfriend's just in like a work meeting, like he has this office that he's in, and I'm like, go in there and like just give him a blowjob under the desk while he's on a Teams meeting.
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff. Like, let's spice this up some.
That's good.
Yeah. So I'm trying to encourage a
little kinkier.
And one of my friends, just because I'm nosy and like to meddle in everyone's business anyways too. So I have nothing better to do.
So you talk openly with your friends about the fun escapades as openly as you do on the podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think my friends love to hear how ridiculous I am.
I spare most of mine the details.
Really?
Yeah.
That's sad.
Just because I'm like, again, it comes
back.
back.
Better friends.
Maybe.
Nick Discoviak.
It comes back to like the not necessarily shame, but still, getting over treating sex as a subject that shouldn't be talked about. But still, some of the stuff that I do like in the bedroom feels kind of embarrassing to like admit to being into or whatever. Like the most recent one, back to talking about things that started as bits that are no longer bits, feet.
Okay.
Really into those lately.
Okay.
Which is that's like a pretty tame one, obviously. A lot of people, it was a bit on the internet too, and
yeah,
a lot of people ended up being actually into it. But that's one of those things. It's like, it feels weird to like admit that for some reason. For me anyway.
I feel like if someone has like a good foot, great, but not a lot of people have nice feet.
Not a lot of people have nice
feet.
Maybe
that's why it is a fetish, because there isn't a lot of people with great feet. So when you do have good feet, it's like, I can appreciate that.
Well, and it's also like, it goes back to the same thing with leather of like, it's not the foot itself that is attractive to me, but it's like the concept of the foot. Does that make sense?
No, but I love it for you.
It's like I feel like a lot of my kinks aren't necessarily about the thing itself, but it's about
mental illness.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, autism and mental illness.
It's a powerful couple.
But it's not about the foot itself. It's about the taboo. These are things that are typically thought of as like dirty and unclean or whatever.
Yeah.
And so that, and then like the submission aspect of it, or the domination aspect of it, depending on what role you're playing.
You don't want to look at mine right now.
No, I don't.
I have drag queen feet. So
there's bad feet. There's good feet and there's bad feet. And not all
mine
feet
are good
sexy.
when they're good. They're just not good right now because I haven't went to my pedicure girl because she quit.
No.
So now I have to do that myself.
You have to find a new pedicure girl.
Yeah, but I also am very particular on who I trust because I'm very picky.
I have gross feet, so
I can have really nice feet. I do have to admit my big toe is a little bit larger than usual. So Shelly says it looks like a chicken nugget. But other than that, I actually have really nice feet.
I get real dry skin.
Well, everyone does.
Yeah.
That's pretty normal, but that's why you get a pedicure.
You get a pedicure. Can we go get pedicures together?
We could.
Oh my God.
We have to find a safe space though.
Yeah.
I'm really particular.
Okay. That's your job.
Are there any stories about particular times where you have tried a kink or a fetish and either one, found out it was not for you, or two, enjoyed it and were surprised by it?
Not really. I can't think of anything in particular. Because most things that I try, I've been like thinking about for a little while. And like,
you've never just had like a grinder hookup come over and then like you think it's just going to be like something vanilla and then they just like, no, just try this, and then you do and you're like, oh God, how did I get here?
No, never.
Okay.
What do you have? I know you have something.
I have lots of them.
I'm sure.
God. Well, one was just supposed to be a very vanilla hookup, and it ended up in fisting.
So this is why you talk about fisting all the time.
Yeah, I have had an experience with it. I don't know how to explain this without making myself sound like a little bit of a monster. but I kind of am a little bit of a monster if you really know me.
Yeah.
So,
You jam your hand up there and use them like a Muppet?
well, okay, so I can be very shy and modest, but I also like have this like side of me that is like very dominant, which like I don't think most people know. Like some people probably know about it as they get to know me. Like
I think more people have a hint of it than you think.
yeah, like I mean, I'm definitely like to be in charge of everything.
Yeah.
And so like, but that also like plays over into the bedroom too. Where like I will be doing something and like I'm just like not thinking about it, and then like all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, and then it's just like, you know, you gotta just go for it, and then it's like, whoa, wait, slow down, what's going on here? And all of a sudden you're elbow deep in someone. And
What'd you think?
it was interesting. I don't think I ever want to do it again, but did I hate it while it was happening? I don't think so.
Okay.
It just happened really fast, and
So you were like doing it and he was just like, yeah, fist me.
well, it was like, you know, you start with a finger, and then
Yeah.
it's 2, and then it's 3, and then it's your whole hand, like, you know, up to there, and then all of a sudden you're into the thumb part, which is like the widest, and
Yeah.
then you're past that, and then it's like kind of just
you go.
there's no stopping. And yeah, it's a really weird feeling in every way you can imagine. The sensation's weird. Knowing you're doing it's weird. Knowing they're liking it, it's weird, but like also kind of, I don't know. It's just, I don't know how to describe it. Just try it on your friend once.
Small Town Big Gaze says, try fisting.
Yeah. I personally would not want it done on me.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't want to be the receiver.
That's the thing, is it seems scary. But
Yeah.
also, from what I have read, if you are able to take a fist, you actually, everyone thinks you'll be like incontinent at, 32 or whatever. You actually, your sphincter is much stronger than people who can't take a fist, I guess. I might be wrong about that. I'm not a scientist. Email us smalltownbiggaze@gmail.com if you know the science of fisting. But
well, from my experience, they're pretty strong.
Yeah. You would know.
I would
know.
not. Yeah. So it was an interesting experience that I don't think I ever need again. But never say never.
Never say never.
You could never know what could happen, and so it happens to me a lot. And I feel like a lot of my hookups can tell that maybe it is more like, maybe I am more, people can tell my dominance more than I think, because I tend to like have it happen a lot with hookups.
Yeah, I would like, as someone who has not hooked up with you, I could have told you. I'm like, yeah, you're probably a more dom type.
I think people, I assume that people think I'm not because I like do drag and I'm a little bit more effeminate, that they would think that I'm not in a stereotypical way. So maybe I'm just like, I am projecting my own insecurities and stereotypes.
That's the thing about like being dom versus sub, is it will surprise you who is the more dominant.
Yeah.
Because the kinkiest sex I have had in my life is with a fucking theater kid. And when you look at this guy, you're not going to expect him to be like,
do I know this person?
I don't think so.
Too bad. I would like to look at someone and feel ashamed of them.
I'm not ashamed. We keep in touch, but
I do like the idea of being like a more sub as well sometimes. But I think a lot of people in our community tend to lean more sub. So I think it's, if you can tend to be more of a dom, then you tend to have to take that role a little bit more than usual, I think.
I can speak directly to that because I consider myself a switch. So like sometimes I'm dom, sometimes I'm sub. But in actuality, I suppose I would say I'm more of a sub than dom. I enjoy doming, but being submissive is fucking fun as shit. That's one of those things that I've always been ashamed of admitting to people close to me, is because I kind of give off this whole a more like macho in charge thing, and then admitting that I'm more submissive feels like a little shameful. which is some trauma I'm working through.
I like feel like I am not surprised by that about you at all. Like I feel like you like I feel like people like I would anyone who like would know you, I feel like they would like you maybe like act kind of dumb, but I would totally have flagged you as a sub from day one.
Huh. Well,
yeah.
This is what we're learning on this episode is that whatever you if you think you're giving off a certain aura, you're wrong.
That's okay.
But I don't remember what I was saying.
I don't either.
Move on.
So tell me about your story from The Two Truths and a Lie about locking your gentleman friend in the bathroom.
Oh yeah, it was one of those times. Oh yeah, now I remember what we were talking about. Is like in small towns there tend to be more like sub people than doms, and so I do end up falling into the role of dom more often, even though I might not want to, or might not prefer to. So it was this one guy who is not from town. He was just visiting, and yeah, we were chatting on Grindr, and he wanted to hook up in a kinky thing, and I was feeling dominant. So yeah, I just kept him like handcuffed to like a bar in the bathroom, and like, you know, one of those railing things or whatever. And I kept him in there with his consent, and I locked him in there, and then I shut off the lights. Well, I put a blindfold on him and a gag in, and I shut off the lights, and I walked out of the room, and I went and did some other stuff, and then I would come back in the room every, you know, so often, 20 minutes or whatever, and I would do some stuff to him, and then I would leave again. I did that like 3 times, and then before I unlocked him and sent him on his way.
Love that.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah. And he did too, because we did something similar again the next time he was in town.
I love that.
Yeah.
Cool. Is he from South Dakota?
No.
Okay, good.
I don't think so. Why, did you tie someone up in a bathroom from South Dakota?
Not in a bathroom. This is actually probably one of my favorite stories. And I actually told it in my stand-up comedy class to my class. So I met this gentleman, God, years ago, like probably 12. I don't know, it was like right when I started coming out. We had met, and this man is drop dead gorgeous, did some modeling, very attractive gentleman, came from South Dakota. And
this man drove
a very long distance, to meet me. And sure enough, he was real, came to my, not this house at the time, but my old house for the weekend, like just randomly allowing some man off the internet that I had never met before to come to my house for a whole weekend.
Oh, the early 2000s.
Yeah. And he was real, and he was actually a really nice guy. And we continued to like hang out and whatever. And it was never a sexual thing for a while. It was just kind of like becoming
pals.
Anyway, so then when I moved into this house alone, you know, we were able to be a little more free. I had a roommate at my old house, so I was respectful of what I was doing there.
Yeah.
And it became sexual here. And then I like quickly learned that he wanted to be like dominated, which if you saw this person, you would definitely think the roles would be reversed based upon just like our physical looks for sure. Yeah, I found I really love it and like would really get into it. And, you know, the good old Boy Scout days, because I was in Boy Scouts, tragically, of tying knots has come in handy.
Good.
Where like it would just like, oh my gosh, I don't want to say like it didn't turn me on in like the way of like a sexual turn on, but just like in like a mental turn on of like, I just want to like tie these fucking knots so tight where you'll never get out of it, bitch. Like it just got to me. It made me go crazy, but not like in a sexual way necessarily, but just like, all right, bitch, try and get out of this, you know, like, and it was like this wild game that I enjoyed very much. So yeah, I would like tying up with ropes and pantyhose and duct tape and ball gags and dildos and asses and leaving. He was really good at getting out of the knots, which then would piss me off and make me want to like do even more.
So this was a fun
Yeah, like I was
That
really
is a
into
fun
it.
game.
Yeah. And I was like, again, it wasn't necessarily sexual. It was just like, all right, bitch. And so
It's a competition.
yeah. And well, I mean, he never did it to me. I always just did it to him.
Yeah.
But I loved like also that it was just like, if you were to see us on the streets, you would probably think that he was like this very predominantly masculine. And so that like was also like a turn on to me, like dominating this guy. And so one time I finally got him really good. I got him tied up. And then I was so into it because I got him where he couldn't get out of it finally. So then I put him in my closet and I could like tell he was into it because like we knew, we trusted each other at this point. Like we have done this many times. So it wasn't like we knew what was going on. It wasn't just
there's consent. There's conversation
for sure. Yeah. So we knew what was happening, and I could tell he really got into me, like really wanting to overpower him and putting him in the closet and like having to pick this giant man up and get him in my closet, which I did. So then I'm like, all right. So then I took the keys to his very nice brand new truck and left with his wallet and went and picked my friend up and we went shopping.
Oh my God.
Around town while he was tied up in my closet. And it was like 2 hours we were gone. And then I like kind of began to panic because I was like, what if like he like chokes on the gag, or like I was like, oh shit, I better get home and make sure he's still alive. Honestly, like I was kind of starting to panic.
Yeah.
And then I got home and he like had definitely gotten some knots loose and like, but was like loving it. And then I got more pissed. I was like, you asshole. Like I thought you were dead and like you were clearly into this. And now I'm irritated. And like, he knew
I'm glad I spent $500 on your credit card.
No, he was totally fine with that too. That was,
my God.
It was a whole thing.
You lived the dream. This is the dream.
Yeah. So then I got pissed that he was like into it and like halfway untied. So then I like retightened everything and then I ordered pizza and I sat in my living room and ate food while he sat in the closet for another like 3 hours. And then I finally untied him and let him eat. But yeah. So
that is the dream. That is the dream.
Yeah.
Both sides of that.
Yeah. It did like a little sexual stuff for me just because like I'm attracted to him.
Yeah.
You know, but like the actual like having him in knots and stuff wasn't like sexually attractive. It was just more like dominantly a turn on to
that's the thing about kink is, again, a lot of times it isn't just a sexual thing. That can be part of it, but a lot of times it is the mental part. They talk about dom space or subspace where you just get into this state of mind. Whereas subspace, it's just like you kind of blank out and you don't have to think about your life for a little while. It's just doing, you know, whatever the scenario that you're in is. And then dom space is that.
Yep.
Basically of,
yeah. And that would make sense for the subspace for him of where he was at mentally to go into. So yeah, it's fun. I can be into it sometimes. It's not something I want to do every time. Like it's also exhausting.
It's so much, as someone who is pretty into kink, more so than you anyway, it is fucking exhausting.
Yeah, if it just wasn't so much work, I'd probably be into it more, but I'm tired all the time.
Oh,
I'm old. If y'all are interested and enjoy hearing the random tragic grinder hookup stories, let us know if this is the direction you want us to go in sometime, or if you prefer the more PG stuff.
Yeah.
Let us know your thoughts because we don't know. We do hear some feedback, but we want more.
Yeah. The podcast is new. It can go in any direction.
We can do some episodes crazy and come with a disclaimer, and we can do some that are more PG for our mom listeners who want to just hear about how to raise their queer child in a small town, because we can do that too.
We can do that. Be supportive.
I feel like I do a lot of that in my everyday life, so like this is more fun to not have to always do that. So
we have some Dear Chloes that we can get to.
Love that. And just a reminder, the Dear Chloes, I feel like some of them are actually seeking real advice, which I'll give you my real opinion on this subject, but I also will lead you in a very terrible, which I think would be funny and you should do, way as well.
So also a reminder with the Dear Chloes, keep them succinct, short and to the point. I will edit them down if I need to, like I did with this one because it was a little long. But
okay.
Dear Chloe, I'm a female in my mid to late 30s and own my own small business. I'm blessed to be 100% independent with my income. I'm by no means rich, but I am comfortable. I have been seeing my man friend, who is 10 years my senior, for 1.5 years, and we have a strict 50-50 relationship. He earns about 5 times more than I do per year. We don't live together, and we don't share finances. Because he has more resources, he's able to do more activities like travel and hobbies than I am. Due to being taken advantage of in past relationships, he is unwilling to help cover the additional cost of what I cannot spend for me to be able to enjoy, or to join. And although this is foreign to me, I understand and respect it, as I don't think he should have to be held back or pay extra because of my shortcomings. They're not shortcomings, baby. They're capitalism. However, I've developed negative feelings about myself for not being able to afford it. I feel sad that I don't get to be there to experience things with him. I feel jealousy and resentment that he can go and I cannot. And ultimately, I don't feel secure in the relationship, as I am always the last to know about plans, as I will not be able to be a part of them, and I'm the last priority to make plans with, as they often need to be more basic than bougie. Is the relationship doomed? Will he need to find someone that he can keep up with? Or is there a way to navigate a healthy solution? Thank you for your time. The hopeful bridge gapper.
That's a very serious question.
It is.
Which I kind of actually have like a moderately serious answer to in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
One, to me, I love that this person is financially independent and you are a boss babe doing your shit, which I love. What I read from this thing is a lot of insecurities on your behalf, which makes me sad for you, because I feel like you shouldn't feel insecure, because again, you are doing your own business and supporting yourself, which is an incredible thing. But it is easy when you get around people who are doing things where they're making more or having more experiences than you, to easily get jealous of those things and then not focus on the great things that you have done. I think there's probably a bigger issue than the finances here. And I think it comes down to your own insecurities of yourself that you probably need to address before worrying about financial insecurities, even though financial insecurities are some of it. Is there hope in the relationship? Of course, there's always hope in anything, but sounds like there's probably a lot of work that needs to be done to really make it happen. My really my actually terrible advice to you is to do this. Gaslight that motherfucker and make him think that he's wrong. And what you should do is gaslight him so much where he forgets that he was traumatized in past relationships and he starts paying for things for you again. And go on those goddamn trips with him and tell him, if he doesn't, that you're going to break up with him and be crazy and throw shit at him.
It's a man's world. You got to do what you got to do to get ahead.
Yeah. Gaslight that son of a bitch.
Gaslight, girl boss, gatekeep.
Yeah. We love that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, take example from the Virgin Mary, the original gaslighter.
Yeah.
Gaslight the shit out of men. They deserve it. They're awful.
Merry Christmas.
And spend his fucking money. Spend his money.
Spend his money.
And if he won't take you on trips, find other ways to spend it. Like, find a way to get into his DoorDash account and order DoorDash every night.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like if this man's making 5 times the amount of money,
he can afford
if you can afford to live like a pretty decent lifestyle, then he can afford to get screwed over in other ways.
And I'm also going to say, after 1.5 years together, he probably should have a good idea that you're not there to take advantage of him monetarily. So, like, you can start paying for some stuff.
Yeah. I also like feel like, and this is going back into like real advice of like, if I was in a relationship with someone, and I kind of can relate to this as someone who is moderately successful in their business. And when it comes to trying to date or find someone, in this community, I do struggle with finding people who are on a similar level that can just be like, yeah, I'm going to go to Europe next month, you know? And I understand that is a huge privilege that I have, but I've also worked really hard for everything that I have. And so I can understand what it's like, but I would want to share that with someone too, to an extent. Like, I understand I don't want to feel taken advantage of, but I also, if I truly cared in love for someone, I would want them to experience the things that I'm experiencing as well. There are going to be some times where I want to go on a trip with a friend, or I want to do these other things, or I don't want to pay for your ass. But for the most part, as long as I know you're working hard and doing what you can, I would want you to enjoy the things that I would be able to provide with you, especially after dating someone for a year and a half. That's like not a short amount of time either. And especially in gay world, that's like 50 years. So you might as well get the grave plot picked out together.
And it doesn't have to be like, oh, it doesn't have to be so extravagant as, oh, he's going to, you know, fly me to Europe and pay for everything. It's like, like you said, oh, I'm going to Colorado. I'll pay for your $260 plane ticket. And then you buy your fucking food when you're there.
Yeah. There's ways to make it happen.
Yeah.
If he wants to, he will.
You just got to talk to him.
Gaslight him.
Gaslight.
Gaslight
Girl
that
boss.
motherfucker.
Gatekeep. We have a second Dear Chloe.
Okay.
Dear Chloe, recently at a work-related Christmas party, after a few drinks, one of my coworkers came out to me as bi. The morning after the party, I woke up to a Snapchat friend request from him that he had sent at 2:30 a.m. Am I reading this correctly as a sign of some sort? He has a girlfriend, by the way, so I don't want to be presumptuous. Sincerely, Homewrecker for the holidays.
Oh, I love that. Okay. I'm going to need pictures of both of you to decide. Because if you're ugly, it's nothing.
How about we assume both of them are attractive?
Okay. If you're both attractive, then yes, absolutely. He wants something. But if you're ugly, I don't know. Maybe you need to look in the mirror and ask yourself if you're ugly or not. I mean, it's true, right? Like,
yeah,
I mean,
it's your advice show. You fucking tell me.
Well, speaking of gaslighting, I have gaslit myself into believing sometimes I'm more attractive than I am. So I have been in this similar circumstance where I think someone likes me and they clearly don't. And I have over thought the situation and then realized quickly they are not into me. I feel it out, you know, like I think it's pretty easy to like understand where people's intentions are, especially like if they're bisexual and like in a suppressed relationship. I feel like they give the signs, especially if they were comfortable enough, even under the influence, to tell you.
Yeah.
That means that they've thought about something, like telling you or whatever, and they feel safe with you or they are attracted to you.
And for me, it's the Snapchat friend request at 2:30 the night after you came out. That tells me, like, you know, maybe a little sauced up after the Christmas party and thinking about it and like, I'm going to send this friend request because I want some dick. And if it happens to get accepted at 2:30 a.m. and we start snapping, it's going down.
Yeah, I love that. I have been not guilty. I have no shame. I don't know. Guilty means shame or whatever, but I have sent the friend request at 3 a.m. to, you know, people who I've deleted off of Snapchat because they annoyed me once. And then I'm like, God damn it, that was some good dick though. I shouldn't have. And then you send it back to them and pray that they'll answer it. And they usually do.
We've all sent the semi-shameful 2:30 a.m. message.
Oh God, I love it. I'm the queen of a good 2:30 a.m. Well, there's no shame in well, there's some shame, but that's internal homophobia, which we'll get into someday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say if you are friends with the girlfriend, tread lightly. Also, like, be respectful of the girlfriend in general. I think it's such a weird fine line for me of like, I want women to be whatever. Anyways, that's a whole nother thing we'll get into another day. But yeah, feel it out, see what he's up to. But also, like, you are treading on a coworker and a potential girl that could get really messy fast. So
it's dangerous territory.
But I can understand the appeal and have been there many times myself. So,
all right. Good advice.
Good advice. Keep asking questions. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm full of good and terrible advice.
If you would like advice from Chloe Wold, the one and only, email us smalltownbiggays@gmail.com or DM us on Instagram or TikTok at STBG or message us on Facebook because we have one of those again. Yeah. I don't fully know how Facebook works anymore. It's for old people.
Love it. Yeah. And comment on our stuff, please.
Yes.
Like it, comment, share it, because that's the best way you can support us.
Get us more. Tell your friends about Small Town Big Gays.
Yeah. Tell your grandmas.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anything else you want to?
I mean, I could go on for all day. But
yeah. We'll do a part 2 to Kinks, I'm sure.
Maybe.
We'll come back to it. All right.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
over and over again.